So you guys would know on this channel now, I've been a pretty big advocate for Glen Powell to play Batman in James Gunn's new DC universe. Again, I've made a ton of videos talking about a bunch of different actors who are, of course, interested in playing the Dark Knight. Of course, there was Jake Gyllenhaal who talked about it. Again, and I'm going to be honest here, if they cast Jake Gyllenhaal as the Batman, I would literally shoot all mayonnaise out of my penis. That would be pretty fucking cool, I'm not going to lie. But it's probably more realistic. They're going to go with a guy in his 30s or so, a guy who's more to the age of David Corenswet as Superman. This has ruled out a ton of other actors. Again, a lot of people have suggested still they should cast Alan Ritchson as Batman, who I've been a bit iffy about. I like Alan Ritchson, but I've never thought his acting was strong enough to be the Batman. Again, they've actually had Hayden Christensen, the Anakin Skywalker actor, even talk about playing Batman. A bunch of other different actors here and there really want to do it, including Glen Powell, who has quickly become one of the biggest actors legitimately in the world. I think Glen Powell would be probably on the top of the list right now of those B-listed actors in the world, but I think he is that close to becoming an A-lister. I usually base things off if my mum knows who the person is, and if I ask mum who Glen Powell is, there's still a 90% chance she probably doesn't know, but a 10% chance she probably does, which is more than a lot of people. Again, Glen Powell has been absolutely killing it with movies as of late. He was in Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney, who, how the fuck he managed to film that movie without having a boner the whole time, or look, he probably did actually have a boner the whole time. I don't really know. I wish we got that in the behind the scenes. That would have been pretty cool. He also did Top Gun Maverick, which has been a massive success, one of the biggest movies ever. He was one of the, I wouldn't say main characters, but he was a main character of that. Obviously, there's a rumor that Top Gun 3 is reportedly in development, and that Glen Powell will be actually stepping up to be the main character of the movie with potentially Tom Cruise, and then even theories have suggested after that in the third one it could be kind of a passing of the torch in Top Gun 3, where maybe Glen Powell kind of takes over for the future films of the franchise. I really don't know. Other projects he's done, he was recently in the Twisters movie, which I have on record, which is kind of cool. Shout out my best mate Jake for getting me that for my birthday. That was pretty hype, of course. Again, that movie was also pretty good. I reviewed it on the channel. But yeah, he's been doing tons of big blockbusters as well. Hitman, which was on Netflix, which is one of the best movies I have seen in a long time, especially for a movie that debuted on a streaming service. Highly recommend going and checking that one out. But obviously, I think Glen Powell would be perfect to be the Batman. And the reason I'm talking about this all right now is there is a massive rumor going around on the internet that has deep fakes of Pokemon. Where the fuck am I going with this? It's just the internet. It's got a lot of shit on there. But one here that says that the Batman caped Crusader actor Hamish Linkletter has nominated Glen Powell to be Batman for James Gunn's DCU. It says the latest name to talk about Powell in connection to Batman is the voice of the animated series Batman Caped Crusader. When I spoke to Hamish Linkletter alongside a handful of other journalists at San Diego Comic-Con, the actor was asked about his thoughts about the future of Batman in James Gunn's DCU. He answered simply by blurting out Glen Powell and leaving it at that. Linkletter certainly doesn't want to take the live-action mantle himself, as he followed up with these words: "It's pretty cool seeing the animated version of me, and I don't know how much fear it would strike into the hearts of criminals if they saw Hamish Linkletter driving down the street in his spandex." Again, Hamish Linkletter, I actually have been seeing in a ton of projects as of late. My mum is obsessed with this show called The Old Adventures of New Christine. She watched it 10 years ago, and she's fucking rewatching it now. He was in that. He was also in, I think, Fantastic Four, the original one with Jessica Alba. Oh my god, how did anyone film that movie without getting a fucking stiffy? Jesus Christ. And now he's the voice actor of Batman. Again, even he thinks that Glen Powell should legitimately be James Gunn's DCU's Batman. I think this is also reconfirming that he probably has already been cast as Batman in the DCU. I made a video talking about this previously, but for those of you who don't know, Glen Powell recently just followed James Gunn. And a lot of you guys might be saying, yeah, that's because he's going to be playing Booster Gold or Hal Jordan. Well, Booster Gold's already been cast as the dude from fucking Kenobi. Hal Jordan, not yet. But the thing is, the other guy he actually followed at like the exact same time was Andy Muschietti, who is the director of the Brave and the Bold movie, James Gunn's new Batman movie. So, yeah, I'm 99.9% sure he didn't follow him because he's playing Hal Jordan. He followed him because he's going to be Batman in James Gunn's DCU. And this makes a ton of sense. The dude is like 35 years old. The absolute perfect, again, age to be in this DC universe. Can be Batman for the next 15 to 20 years if he wants. He also is 6'1", I believe. The perfect height to be the Batman as well. A very, very charismatic actor who has had a ton of great romances in all these films like Hitman and Anyone But You. Really has the charisma on screen and the sexual tension with whatever female character he is, of course, getting into a relationship with. Again, it's something we haven't seen from Batman in a very long time. Ben Affleck's Batman did not have any love interest other than like looking up Wonder Woman's skirt from time to time. Robert Pattinson's Batman is an emo man who just, yeah, I don't know if that guy has ever spoken to a girl in his life. Christian Bale had a love interest in the first Batman movie, Batman Begins, which a lot of people liked. And then in the second one, again, the only critique that a lot of people have with The Dark Knight was that he and Maggie Gyllenhaal just like didn't really have any chemistry whatsoever. There didn't really seem like there was too much of anything going on other than that really, really iconic Dear Bruce letter that she did, which, I mean, every TikTok sad edit of Batman has that sound and it's so fucking cool. But yeah, we really haven't had Batman and love interests and all of this type of stuff for a very, very long time. Again, yeah, Catwoman in the new Batman movie, but I think a lot of people are really striving to see all of these other female characters that he, of course, has had interest in the comics, in the original Batman movies as well. I think people are really hoping to see these characters come alive in James Gunn's DC universe and see a really charismatic Bruce Wayne who, again, is gonna see the philanthropy side of things as well. The thing with Glen Powell, whether you have your arguments about whether or not he'd be a good Batman or not, I think it is very, very obvious that this guy could by far be the best Bruce. I can't even fucking speak. I'm basically just saying boobies out loud at the moment. I think there's no doubt in my mind that Glen Powell would be by far probably the best Bruce Wayne we have ever had. His charisma is levels above pretty much any actor they have had. I mean, Christian Bale's charisma was pretty fucking high. And from what we've seen about Glen Powell, it is probably a lot higher. This dude can really tap into the philanthropy like side of Bruce Wayne, but also flirting with all these supermodels, all of these hot women, having these love interests, all of these type of things I could really see Glen Powell doing. We've also seen in movies like Anyone But You, he can have like a little bit of a sarcastic dickhead kind of side about him that, again, can be used for sarcasm, can piss people off. He got under Sydney Sweeney's skin a lot in that movie. We know that in a lot of history of Bruce Wayne, he can be a bit of an arsehole. It's like Iron Man, right? It's like Tony Stark. This is a rich guy who can sometimes be a bit of an arsehole, but in a snarky, funny way. I mean, look at The Dark Knight when fucking Christian Bale was like, can we get these tables together? And they were like, we don't think we can do that. And he was like, well, you can, because I have just bought this restaurant. Shit like that, right? I think Glen Powell can really take that up another level. And look, a part that I like about Glen Powell, he's got blonde hair. And we know that this Batman is supposed to be a lighter Batman, especially with the tone of it. Having a blonde-haired Bruce Wayne who's very charismatic, not a darker-haired emo guy like Robert Pattinson's one. It's very good. It's very different. It's going to differentiate the two from each other, making it so it's not like confusing to audiences and whatnot. So I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. What do you guys think about Glen Powell being the new Batman? Do you guys like it or do you guys not? I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my sports channel, MLIRL/vlogging channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.